live, I believe. Yes, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Hey,
Hello.
babe, how are you?
I'm good,
You're
darling.
looking
Hey,
splendid.
babe. How are you?
You're looking good.
You're looking
We
handsome.
are almost color matching. Very close.
Yes.
Anytime you see us dressed like this, there's only one person behind it in this whole entire world. But we are always happy to be here.
Yeah.
Always happy to serve you. Always happy to bring this podcast to you. This is, I don't know how, episode number what now, but it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride. And we want to thank you for always being a part of the Purpose Driven Marriage podcast. And we know it's been a blessing to you as well. If you can hear us loud and clear, because we know we've been hearing some feedback about our microphones.
Yes, especially my microphone.
Yeah. Please, if you can hear us loud and clear, like both of us, kindly give us some feedback in the comments. Let us know whether, let us know. Well, let us truly actually know whether you can hear us very well.
Yeah.
You can hear her well, you can hear me well.
Yeah.
That would mean a lot to us because we've tried to,
Trick things around.
Just a few things. Yeah, we can hear loud and clear. That's good.
Awesome.
So we can get into today's topic, right? Last week we talked about how we balance our career, ministry, and marriage. This week we're going to be talking about how we manage our responsibilities as husband and wife.
Yeah.
All right. And I tell you very much well that this topic, we believe very strongly it would add a lot of value to you, whether you're married right now and maybe you're struggling with managing roles and responsibilities between each other, or you are not married and you're wanting to learn.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do the Ekundayos do their own, so that maybe you can take some feedback or some learning from it, or maybe you're already even doing better than us. Let us know in the comments. Give us some tips as well. We are always open to learning as well too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that maybe we should appreciate those who...
Yes, before we jump into the topic, let's appreciate all of the people who left us a comment last week on our page. Yes.
So some people sort of commented and told us, give us some feedback about our video last week, how we manage what was the topic? Balance our career, ministry, and marriage. So some people left messages. Grant George said, intentionally taking a job with a purpose perspective. Very insightful. Yeah. Thank you, Grant George. Tosi Omolaye said, I was blessed by this and got value for every point raised. God bless you both and continue to keep your beautiful home. Amen in Jesus' name. She also left us a comment, a feedback about the microphone. And so we've tried to tweak things. So hopefully it's nice this time. Thanks for the insights, sir and man. This is from Grant George again. Thank you so much. Ifunaya Chim said, this is a lot. Thanks for this.
We love feedbacks. We love feedback. We love encouraging comments as well. We want to hear from you all the time. So thank you to those who are joined live right now. Those we can see their comments. Dr. Tim Dokbek Baby, thank you for joining. Jacinta, thanks for joining. Titslaya Claire, thanks for joining. And of course, our very own Damilola Bolade. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Joining. All right, we're going to jump into today's topic. How do we
share our roles and responsibilities
as husband and wife?
Yeah.
So I'll let my wife start in that regard. Yes. So
I believe that roles and responsibilities as husband and wife is something that could be very challenging in many homes today, and many people go into marriage with different mindsets, different perspectives that they have brought from their own background, upbringing, environment, what you've seen your parents do, or what you've seen some people do, or what you've watched in movies.
That movie part.
And you bring this also into your home, and you believe that this is how I've seen it being done, and so this is how it must be done. Exactly, And your spouse also brings a different kind of perspective.
Yes, from movies as well, from upbringing, from society, from IGs.
from social media, and they believe that this is how it should be done, And sometimes when you don't discuss these things before marriage, you get into marriage and you are shocked. You're like, this person's expectation of me. No, I cannot be the expectation. No. And I like how Pastor Kingsley, one of his messages, he talked
Pastor
about
Kingsley Okonkwo.
yes, Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo. He talked about these 3 types of marriage, and he talked about how you have the traditional marriage, where people come with this mindset that I am the man, the husband, I am the man, and I am the boss, I am the dominator, I'm the everything. And the woman is sort of seen as inferior to him, and seen like a slave. The woman has she has no
almost
say.
No right of
Exactly. And things are done just anyhow, however he wants it to be done. Whereas we have what we call like the contemporary marriage, which is like almost like the opposite
of traditional marriage. Yeah.
Where the woman is the boss, she calls the shots.
That's very common in the Western world.
Yes, and even the husband is like scared of her because if
the husband is the slave.
Because if he messes up like this, police is straight up, no time.
Yeah, so drive him out of the house. Yeah, in the Western world, it is women that drive husband out of the house.
Exactly, and it should not be like that. Both of them, I think, they don't see each other as one. In neither of those 2 types of marriages, whether it is traditional or contemporary. But in the kingdom kind of marriage, in the God kind of marriage. That's the third one. It's beautiful how Bible says that 2 of you will come together and you'll be one flesh. So it's not you, it's not me, it's now us. We are now one. And in everything that we do, including our responsibilities, we are one. And for us, that's the mindset, that's the perspective, the way we do our own marriage, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you all today. And we hope that you learn from it. We're not perfect.
Yeah. The truth is, the way we share our roles and responsibility isn't traditional.
Yeah.
It's not contemporary. It is kingdom based in terms of what works for us. All right. And you will notice that the topic is how we, so on this podcast, you find topics how we, or we say, how you can. In this context, we want to tell you how we, so that maybe, you can pick up one or two things from it. So should we?
Yeah, and I think that we should also say, babe, that, some of the things that we're going to be sharing with you today might be surprising to you. Like, how does a woman do that? Oh, how does a man do that? But we want to let you know that we didn't get to this stage just overnight. We didn't come to this point overnight. We've been married for 11 years this month, actually.
Yes. So this same month. We should do anniversary special episode. Special anniversary episode.
Yeah, this month is our anniversary.
Yes,
if you've been watching our episodes for a bit, you would understand that we've had our journey. We've had some rough patches also. And to be fair, and to be honest, my husband has changed. Yeah.
My wife has changed. We are changed. All of us are changing. If you're in any home, you're not changing.
Positive change.
Yes, of course, positive change. Marriage is meant to make you die to self. Marriage, I think God designed marriage mainly for that. So if marriage is not making you die to self, to pride, to your ego, that marriage is not working.
It's not.
The true marriage that works is a marriage that is actually helping you to
absolutely.
To change,
and I just want to use this opportunity to actually appreciate my husband for the positive changes. When you talk about someone learning, unlearning, and relearning, this man.
Praise God.
Yeah, he's the definition of that. To be honest, we live very busy lives. If you watched our last episode, you would understand that our lives are very busy. He works full time as a lecturer. He works full time as a purpose preacher. He works full time doing so many things. And myself, I'm very busy with my career also, purpose, we both very busy with parenting and all sorts of things, and the way the work he puts into our home, just beats my imagination. And I'm not saying it because we are, online, but he makes my life easy. That is a rare man. So when you hear the things that we're going to talk about today, I know that it's not every man that can be like my husband, but yeah, you can try.
Glory to God.
So
Glory
thank
to
you,
God.
babe. God bless you.
Amen. In saying that too, I appreciate you too. I mean, like I said, we have both changed. We both come a long way. I remember when my wife used to kneel down for me to
So that's
to,
what what are you saying?
What
are you saying? What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that? So
I miss it. That's what I'm saying. I miss it. Anyway,
we should bring back the leader.
By the way, my mom still kneels down to
that's
serve
part
food
of
for my dad.
that's part of the
Can you imagine?
the background stuff that we are talking about.
These people have been married for for decades. So my mom still kneels down. When we just got married, my wife, we kneel down.
Because
and
I
serve
heard,
me food.
I told me those kind of things.
I have arrived. I have blown. Out of the blue, that it just.
My niece started paying me. My niece started paying me. That's why.
If you're from the western part of Nigeria, you would understand kneeling down is a sign of honor, especially from a woman to a man is a sign of honor and all of that. It doesn't mean that she doesn't honor me now. I'm just joking with that. I'm just joking with that. So let's talk about some of the things we do in order to share our roles and responsibilities as husband and wife. Number one, we are not traditional. Just like we emphasized at the beginning of this, at this beginning of this episode, we are not traditional. We are not contemporary. We are a kingdom marriage.
Yeah.
All right. And for us, that means that we are very intentional about the things that we know that will make our marriage work. It's not stringent on I'm the man, you are the woman, so you're meant to do this. I am meant to do that.
Yeah.
No, we don't operate like that in our home. And the reason why we don't operate like that is because we have realized that doesn't work. It does not work for us. It does not work for us. We have to be flexible. For instance, I cook. My wife cooks. Anyone that cooking meets me should cook.
I think for us, even though most of the time I do the cooking, but for example, my husband is very domesticated, and when I'm not at home, for example, like yesterday, I was on a 14 and a half hour shift. So I was not home, and my husband was the one that, sorted out the cooking for himself and the boys. We are sort of flexible like that. He doesn't put this thing on my head or on his head, like, so men, they would cross their leg, the wife that worked 14 and a half hours, and she will still come back and pound yam
and make fresh fish, fresh vegetables. You want to kill the woman.
So it doesn't work like that, for us. We ensure that we're not traditional like that. My husband is not fussy. Again, remember, we did not get here overnight. He's someone that now he's got sort of like an open mind. He understands. I remember even up until last week, I think I was feeling tired and exhausted, and he was just like, he was driving the kids from soccer, and I was like, should I get the kids dinner, it was like we are that flexible. His mindset is not traditional at all. Now my mindset too, we're very, very not traditional. And I think that has worked for us. Even with the cooking, sometimes my husband is very open, and sometimes we order our food or we contract our meals out, and we just sort of put them in the freezer, and that works for us.
Makes it easy for us. I mean, I'm a firm believer in, there's a thing we say in Western Nigeria that you don't want to kill the donkey that is carrying you on its back. We say don't kill kete kete, and it's so true.
Kete kete is donkey.
Yeah, kete kete is donkey. You have a woman right there that you want her to be able to serve you for forever, for a long time and all, and then you are placing this burden on her. It does not make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense.
So she can be active in the other room.
Yeah, even apart from even the other room, so that she can be available in other areas and she too can live longer.
Yeah, true.
Not this mindset that many people have is that their woman is one that would look after children.
Slave mindset.
Yeah. So we are not traditional, in that way. We are very intentional in both doing what we need to do part time, based on different things to make sure that we are able to make things work. Number 2 is we also play to our strengths. There's this mindset that some people have that the husband is the head of the house, so he's supposed to be the one that is managing finances,
provide, not only go to work.
Or only go to work, and maybe the woman stays at home or those kind of things. No, we don't do that. It is the person that has the skill or the strength, better money manager manages money. Better this manages that. Better fixer of this manages that. The person that looks after the cars, make sure that, the car rego is going on well, the servicing is done well, is me. For instance, in our house, finances is managed by me. Not because I'm a man, all right? And I remember many times, we had one time like that. I said, okay, maybe you can be managing it. I don't care who manages it, as long as it's the person's strength.
Yeah.
We've seen homes that have gone into a lot of turmoil because one person who is actually a bad manager of money
is the one that's in charge of the finances.
He's
For example, the man might be like, I'm the man of the house, so I have to, And I think that this is not going to work for many people if you do not yet have the oneness mindset, because we have the oneness mindset, and that's why my money is our money, his money is our money. It's not like my money is my money and so you have no say, you have no business, it is just mine. We should even talk about how we manage our finances.
We should talk about that in another episode.
So we have a mindset of oneness, and so we are able to put our resources together, everything together, and by God's grace, God has gifted this man of God with the grace to manage. Because sometimes I'm not wasteful. Don't get me wrong.
She's a spender.
A
spender.
A nice, a calm spender. If there is any way to qualify it like that.
I don't know about calm, but she's a spender. In every marriage, the way God has done it is so amazing. Opposite always attract. Have you noticed? Yeah. One person will be a spender, one person will be a saver. The thing is, the person who is a spender must not be an extreme spender. The person who is a saver must not be an extreme saver. That balance has to be there. For us, it's taken us a long time to work out that balance. When we talk about how we manage our finances, you guys will understand where we're talking. How we'll talk about how the journey has been. From day one to now. The person who saves wants to save everything. Save the whole.
Always thinking about the problem that's not will come.
We need to have so number of dollars in the savings account, for
please believe in the moment, okay?
People want to live in the moment.
Yes, enjoy it while you have it. Nobody knows tomorrow.
But I mean, the truth is, the way we share that role is such that, okay, we've come to acknowledge that, okay, this guy that is the saver is better to manage these our finances for us, other than maybe her, the spender, that all of us will just live in the moment.
Yes, so.
And if we all live in the moment,
we enjoy ourselves, go for holidays every time.
If you leave it to my wife, we'll be in Maldives every week. And we'll go to Maldives, from that to Singapore to Indonesia.
We'll be living in Maldives.
My wife will say, no worry, God will provide. God has never
let us down.
That's what my wife always say. God has never let us down. And He will not let us down.
And it's the truth.
Of course,
it's the truth,
babe.
It's the truth,
It's the truth. But one needs to still package that God has not let us down with some realistic. You're laughing and crying. It's the truth. With some realistic, how do I say this now? Some people are not realistic. They just use these traditional roles to say, oh, I'm the husband, I'm supposed to be the one managing finances. No, you've got to be realistic. Who has the strength in managing finances? Who who's
more gifted in this area? Who's a better person to do this for us?
Like
that's
that.
Because we're in the boat. Yeah. And if the person who is the better driver or
he's not allowed to
will capsize,
we'll
go bankrupt.
Exactly.
I will be drinking Gary every day.
Sometimes I always joke with my wife. Sometimes whenever she says if she says we should buy something or do something, I will say, babe, we all drink the Gary together. We all suffer together, so to speak. But the truth is, whoever is the gifted cook, let that person cook more. Whoever is the gifted person at managing finance, let that person manage finance more. Whoever is gifted at maybe an aspect of parenting, maybe the person who can find a way of educating the kids about sex, about those kind of dynamics. Let that person do it.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do in our home. We don't say, oh, it's a traditional role of men, so men should do it. So you should do it. It's a traditional role of women. Women should do it. No, all these what a man can do, women can do better. That some feminists bring to the table.
No competition at all. No. Yeah, it's teamwork. No. Yeah, it's just like a game of soccer. If one person is like, I know it all.
A better defender, defend. Yeah. A better attacker, attack.
Because it's teamwork, and that's what works for us. Even with chores and things like that. My husband is the one that helps us with
the trash. Take out the trash.
Look
after the cars. Some of those very important things. But because that's where my strength lies.
And the funny thing is, we never actually said, oh dear, you are going to be doing this. Like we don't sort of delegate, or we never actually delegated stuff. We just sort of
naturally.
It's we just knew exactly this is what works for us. And
whoever is, I just want to say this, whoever is managing something, for instance, the way I manage finances, we've got to give room for the other person's, sort of side of view as well too.
Contribution.
Yes, contribution to allow the other person to also, contribute to it, so that it doesn't be like I'm the one managing it. So, whatever I say.
Yeah, that can be an issue. That was an issue for us.
At the beginning, whatever I say goes. I'm the best
else
manager.
Take it over.
So we've had to learn from some of these things. I do some of the heavy liftings as well. Let's talk about being gentlemanly or being ladylike. Sometimes there are some things that are very ladylike. There are some, like my wife looks after our clothes sometimes in terms of what are we going to wear to church? What
is he gonna wear to for administration?
It's not my area. If you leave that one to me, I will combine white upon
something
pink
else
or something or blue
different
on
color.
pink.
Like, babe, these two don't go together.
You need to see my dressing before I got married and my dressing after I got married to know what we are talking about. In fact, glory to Jesus Christ. Hallelujah.
Thank God for us.
Yeah, so that's number 3.
Yep.
We communicate also with each other. I think this is one of the biggest aspects of sharing our roles and responsibility, communication. All right. And she mentioned an example the other day. I was taking the boys out back from soccer. She was tired. I think she had walked or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's been a very tiring. And you were just complaining to me how your body was aching and all of that. And I was like, what? So you don't need to cook again. You don't need to cook. Let's just buy, food from outside.
It's so sweet like that. I mean, that was just very, very, very nice. No, you are saying something, but you're not saying something, but it's reading your mind.
Yeah.
But please communicate what you want. I wasn't saying it because I wanted that, but I was just expressing how I felt at that time, But he was already thinking ahead. Okay, so if this woman is feeling tired, it means that let's not bother her about doing this and this and this. And he just said, oh, I'll sort out I'll get dinner for the kids. And even though he wanted to also get dinner for himself, like, don't worry, babe, I'll make you dinner. That's fine. But I just like the way he was able to take that initiative to see how we could come in to help, to make the burden lighter.
Another key point here, which I reckon we always make every week, is that some of these things we talk about can never work if you're a marriage that don't communicate in the first place, that you don't have good friendship, it can never work.
Yeah.
The reason why many people see this as a big ordeal or big stuff, a big deal, is because many people don't communicate in their marriages. They can't even talk normal talk.
Talk less of.
Yeah. Talk less of, honey, should I buy dinner when I'm coming home? The kids are going to soccer. Should we, you know what I mean? Can we take your car? Those kind of normal communication.
Yeah.
But where communication is lacking, you just realize that some of these things are a major struggle.
Yeah, it will be very tough.
It will be very, very tough.
Yeah.
But communication has really helped us to be able to, schedule things, to be able to, schedule some of these roles and responsibilities across some of the flexibilities that our career permits as well, too.
Yeah. So, for example, every time we are talking about we're communicating, what my roster is, because I have, very interesting kind of roster at work, and I'm communicating that to my husband. This is how my week is going to be like. He tells me also what his week is going to be like, and we see how we can work together and make those everything align such that our kids are not suffering because we are working. Who's going to be with the kids, who's going to be taking them to soccer. We still had that discussion even before we came to this
podcast today.
We still had that kind of discussion, and who is in a better frame of mind to do this. How can we do this together? Do I have to say no to this to the shift so that we can be there for each other, we can be there for our kids, so we are always communicating, we are always discussing, we are always finding out what is gonna work for us, what's better for us. And I think that at the end of the day, one must not have a fixed or rigid mindset, because if you have a rigid mindset and like, oh, that's what the Ekundayo think, that's it, it's going to be very hard, for you to actually make changes in your marriage. It could be as simple as you just speaking to your husband or speaking to your wife. What do you think would make you? How can I make things easier for you today? It can be something that simple, and the wife might be like, oh, if you could please do this or this, and the same thing as a wife, you can ask your husband, you can see your husband is exhausted, is tired, and you be like, oh babe, what can I do to make things lighter for you today? It might not be that you go to work, but it could just be as simple as just being there for them.
And acknowledging when the other person is stressed and overwhelmed, and being able to plug in. Sometimes we say, oh, this person, that's their role, all right, and you see that they are struggling in quote in that designated area. Jump in and help. Jump in and
for example, a woman who has just put to bed, or a woman who is pregnant, or a woman who is looking after a baby, and you as the husband, if that woman, she may have been doing all the chores before she had a baby, and she might be having all right, no problems there. That's what she always does, But now that there is an additional responsibility, looking after a baby with sleepless nights, not even able to have time for her own self, and you just leave her. I mean, she does it. She knows what to do. That's and it will be very, very sad for you as a man who abandons that woman, and you come back home and cross your leg. After all, she has been at home. What has she been doing at home? Doing nothing at home. I go to work. No. It's the baby that has come is now a new responsibility for two of you.
Or the baby that is still in the womb too.
Yes. So it cannot be like looking after children is for men alone. It's not for women.
So women alone.
Yeah, for women. You cannot have that mindset or have that mentality. It's a very, very wrong mentality to have, because that child is also your child.
And you both put it there.
Exactly. And so you need to be present for her and for the child. So when you finish your shift at work, you need to come back home and be like, realize that you still have another shift. That's the reality. Because the woman her shift doesn't end, it's 24/7. So when you come back, find out what you can do to make the burden easier, to make the work easier for two of you, because then you can enjoy the best from that woman, and that woman too can enjoy the best from you as a man.
This is so important, because many people, especially those who are very traditional in their roles, have this mindset that
Yeah.
the woman is supposed to do this, and that woman is pregnant. I remember there was one of my persons who came to me, for counseling, and said the husband said that it is your duty, to do this and that and look after the children. So she was tired one day. She was exhausted, and she could barely stand up to cook. Right, and she could barely stand up to cook. And then exhausted because she could also not look after their maybe 2-year-old boy or 1-year-old boy or something like that.
Wow.
And asked the husband, please, could you help look after this boy? I'm so tired and exhausted. And the husband was saying, no, I'm not looking after any boy. It's your duty. It's your duty to look after the boy. And said something like, that's the job you decided to take when you became a wife. And that was just so annoying.
That is terrible.
That kind of man is just...
That's a traditional man. Yeah. The traditional mindset.
So you ladies, beware of you saying, I love a traditional man. I want to marry a traditional...
It's a big risk. I even have a post. I need to post. I've written something like that, marrying such a traditional man is at your own risk. That's the truth. And I think that even as a single person, if a single person is watching this, I think it's something that is important for you to discuss. Before you get married. So you understand this person's mentality.
Yeah.
I remember when we were my husband, we're not even married, we're not courting then, we're still dating, and I remember that I asked him, at the time, because then his mother she wasn't working, she was at home, and so, and I know many men
Mom was a housewife for many years.
Yes, and I know many men have this mentality that I want my wife to be like my mom. So while we were still dating, I was just asking him lots of questions. And one of the questions I asked my husband then was, what would you like your wife in the future to also be a housewife? I wanted to know whether he was the kind of person that I could spend my life with, because I knew that I didn't want to be a housewife. Not that there's something bad or being a housewife, no, but because I knew that I wanted to practice as a medical doctor. So someone who wanted me to sit at home is not someone who would want my career or my life to flourish. I would feel frustrated, to be honest, just sitting at home doing nothing. So but it works for many women. In fact, you can do so many things while at home. That's the truth. So I asked him that question. I said, babe, would you like your wife to
be a housewife?
And the answer he gave me was just like, boom, okay, yeah, this is my husband, and he said, that I would support my wife with whatever she chooses, to do. If she wants to be a housewife, fine. If she wants to be a career woman, fine. Whatever it is. So I liked that answer, and that was why I stuck with it.
Yeah, the truth is, there are so many men. There are so many men who believe that a woman is supposed to be stay at home and all that. And if you go and marry such a man, in fact, we dealt with one some years back who believed that the wife is meant to stay at home and look after the children. What is she doing outside? It makes the most money. Whereas this woman wanted to not practice because she's not a medical doctor. She wanted to work.
Yeah.
She felt she in her words she felt fulfilled working.
Yeah.
But the husband did not buy it. The husband felt like, in the husband's mind, the only reason for working is money. That's the husband's
and I make enough money, so why do you need to work?
So why do you need to work? Look, stay and look after the children. And the woman did not. She does not want to do that. She finds fulfillment working.
Also,
working. She wanted to work. She said she was telling me. I remember then she was saying that she didn't go to school not just to be a housewife. And there are many women who are happy being a housewife. Let's talk about that. All right, but not everyone. All right, so. As men, we've got to be very careful about this. I want us to talk about people who are staying at home, so to speak, housewives, or people whose jobs are flexible. Many times, other people who are going to work for a longer time take them for granted.
Absolutely, yes. So
we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you are, whoever you are, whether you are the man and you are consistently going to work, and your wife is always staying at home looking after the kids, looking after the home and all of that, or it's the other way around, the woman is the one that is always going to work, and the man is maybe the stay-at-home dad
or working from home dad. Yeah,
there's a likelihood to take that for granted and be like, you are just at home all day doing nothing. You have just been home not doing anything.
Your work is easier than my own.
Can I tell you, that work of staying at home, being the housewife, or being
looking after the
or
house,
working from
the
home, or staying
children,
is not easy.
it's crazy.
I work from home most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. I work from home most of the time, right? So I'm the one with the most flexible job to take the kids to school, sometimes bring them back most of the time, take them to soccer and all of that. And it's easy to take that for granted and
Yeah.
go, you know, you're always available anyway, you know, or maybe you don't even have anything to do. I won't even want to pile more work on the person. No. We've got to be understanding that the fact that you go out to work and that person stay at home working does not make that person any less hardworking
That's true.
than you.
That's true.
All right. So justice for people who work from home. Justice for people
Justice
who
for
are
my husband.
Justice for people who are housewives, you know, house husbands, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, justice, or people who are in between jobs and are
Yeah.
waiting on a job, and because of that, they are not necessarily going out to work, but they have a major role to play. They must be appreciated. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
the moment you start to take that person for granted, you will, and they are so valuable for you because it's the.
Without them, you can't also do your own
to
stuff.
work and be able to, you know, to fly the way you're flying. So never ever take such a person for granted. Be intentional about also caring for their own mental health as well, making sure that you appreciate them, knowing that what they do is extremely important for the ecosystem of the family.
Yeah.
For the balance
for
of
your
the family.
own flourishing,
Yeah.
career flourishing,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah,
So
if they are not at home, you
cannot do it.
You cannot do what you do. I think that's about it, right?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, so all of these things that we have shared, if there is a shared understanding of these things that we've talked about, the roles and responsibilities, you will notice that your home will enjoy such intimacy.
Yeah, I think we didn't talk about what works for
Yes,
us.
and
That's number 4.
And lastly, we embrace what works for us.
Yeah.
What works for us may not work for other families.
Yeah.
And that's why we have titled this How We. You know, this is how we do it in our own home. It may not work for you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the traditional role is what works.
I hope it may not be very ideal because you may think it's working for you, that traditional role, and that's the truth. You may think it's working for you. My wife doesn't complain, my husband doesn't complain.
Yeah.
But if you check with them, you know, they could actually be suffering in silence.
Or maybe she's complaining you are not listening.
Exactly. You know, saying
it's
it's subtly,
possible.
you know, and throwing this here and there, but you're not paying attention to this.
Because you don't listen now. Traditional
Yeah.
men hardly listen to their wives.
Exactly.
Because they believe they call the shots. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a very rigid mindset. They cannot change.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm the daddy of the house.
Yeah,
I'm the father.
and it's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, embrace what works for you. We embrace what works for us. Again, we are not. This might be working for us now, but in the future, it might not be working for us because of change in circumstances and our lifestyle.
We may evolve
Exactly,
beyond,
and then we have to also
relook at it again. Communicate.
So what we are sharing today is not what we did, 5 years ago, for example. So we continue to evolve, we continue to improve, and this is working for us right now.
Yeah.
But what I think it's important is make sure that whatever is working for you, it's biblical standards, biblical principles, because it's not going to be his opinion, her opinion, it's God's opinion. And that's what is most important if you want your marriage to work.
Yes, so Inasim said that traditional men could be very rigid. They are alpha and omega.
And that's the truth.
There are so many men like that. They don't listen to their wives, and it's important. In fact, one of the greatest skills in marriage is listening. The ability to listen. The ability to listen. If you're listening and your spouse knows that you listen, they'll be able to talk to you.
Sure.
They'll be able to talk to you effectively. But if you're the kind of person you don't listen,
you
never make the most of your marriage and never get the best out of your spouse. So it's essential that we listen. So we embrace what works for us. What works for us is that one person's job is flexible, so that person is able to do a bit more in terms of the home front, in terms of managing the kids, and all of these things. The other person that is busy at work and work long hours, we know that person is also very important to the balance of our home, to the ecosystem of our home, and we balance things. We don't say because I'm the man, if I, for instance, because my job is the most flexible, if I say I'm a man now, I can just go and take one job, We have some of our friends like that the husband just went to another country completely.
I'm just gonna look for
and
a
go
job
and
somewhere.
get a job just because they feel that that's what they have to do as the man, to be the provider.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm asking, is that really necessary? Is that really, yes, you're a provider, but I don't know, leaving your family and going thousands of miles, away to another continent, could that really be, again, it might work for them, but we could have made that decision, but we know it's important for us, to be able to be together and make things work and build our home, so
especially when you have children,
young children.
The story you talked about that taxi driver.
So we met a taxi driver who drove us from the airport in Atlanta, and this man, amazing man, good man, but he now told us one story that it didn't sit very well with me. He said to us, his children are doing well, and he said all praise to his wife for the way the children are doing. So he expatiated more by saying that his wife was always the one available, that he was never available, he was never home, that his job is just to be a provider, and he's always driving, that he has many taxis, that he drives one, and then he has about, I can't remember the number.
Business of taxis.
Yeah, business of taxis, and he's hardly ever home, but his wife looked after the children, and the children are doing very well. And then it now occurred to me that the parameter with which we measure doing well of our children is often based on their grades in school.
The academic performance.
Yeah, the academic performance, and that's the measurement with which we say our kids are doing well. But a kid might be doing well academically and emotionally be
suffering.
Mental health.
Yeah,
it could be
struggling. Maybe bullied at school. Nobody,
and they can't tell anybody because that is not available.
Mommy too might be so exhausted, even though she's at home. She may be emotionally drained. So may not actually have time for them emotionally. She's present physically, but not really emotionally. So that's why that balance of two
is extremely. And God, the way God did it is so powerful. It's so amazing. And I want to add this because I remember there was also the story of a guy who traveled abroad and never returned home for 13 years.
Wow.
Yes, the wife is frustrated. She was the one that single-handedly raised the kids. Of course, that's not single-handedly because the man's mind is that he's sending money home. And the reason why I cannot return back to Africa to meet his family is because he's sending money home. And he's going to lose the ability to send money to them if he goes back to Africa to start all over again because his condition there was complex. But for 13 years, my point was, according to the woman, the children now resent him for that. They resent him for his absence.
Because it's not there. How do you have a father that you haven't seen or you don't see, or and the father is saying, after all, I provide money? Which money? Being a father is not about.
It's not about providing money alone.
Yeah, that is just 1 out of 10.
There is that role of being present in the children's life that is extremely. That no one can do it. Nobody else can do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody else can do it for you. And the children, they don't want to even see their father. There was another one we heard about, the dad was so busy, always. He comes home once in a month or once in 2 months. The children also resented him. It got to a point one of the child wanted to be, was depressed, and also suicidal too. There is the role that the parents play in being available in these responsibilities are very crucial. We've got to make sure that we ensure that balance. Somebody's asking us a question. We'll take that question and we'll finish. The person said, what if both spouses are professionals? So how can they manage their home? Great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
I think we answered that question in our previous episode, how we balance
our careers,
ministry and marriage.
Let me just give a quick answer to that. If both of you are professionals, that you are both equally busy, let's assume both of you are medical doctors, okay? Because that can also happen. Both of you are medical doctors and you are busy. You've got to be one person has to find a way to sacrifice within the time being while the kids are younger,
like maybe go part-time, because it's going to be very hard for two of you to just be going on and on and on. It's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. Some people will do it and then they'll get father or
Helpers,
mother
maids,
or maid and
or
things
their
like
parents
that,
to come and look after the children.
yeah, but those people are going to be dead, but they cannot be like you.
They
Cannot be like,
nobody
daddy
can look after your children
like you,
the way you look after them, for especially for the long term.
Exactly.
They can be there for a while, a season,
yeah,
but for the long term,
yeah, especially that emotional connection, that bond, that advice. Sometimes because your children might not even tell you anything as the truth, but because you spend so much time with them, you know when things are right, you know when things are not right, you know when they make some statements. There is you know that
see
there
how heavy it is.
Yeah, it's, you don't say like, okay, he just said it, she just said it. No, where is this statement coming from? Like, why is he saying something like this? Where did you hear things like something like this? Who told you about this? You don't brush it off, but if you're not spending time with them, you won't know what they are being exposed to at school. You won't know what they are hearing. Some people have even gone into pornography and you don't know. You think that your children are very, very innocent. They don't know. It's a lie. But if you are there, you'll be able to know the kind of friends, the kind of words that they speak. House help or maid, or those people, they cannot parent like you. And God forbid, if one chases career, good, what you may do excellently in career, that's perfect. But by the time these children become teenagers, you realize that they are formed, they are made, and it's difficult to now begin to act like I'm your father or I'm your mother. You're like, you were not there for me. You're my father, but you're not present. I have a father or a mother, but it's like I don't even have a father or a mother. I meet lots of teenagers that make such statements because daddy is too busy, mommy is too busy, they don't have time for me.
Everybody's chasing the dollar.
Exactly. And so they get advice from people who have time for them, and it may not be good advice.
Yeah. So please, I know many parents try to judge their children doing well by their grades in school, and by the fact that maybe they are now graduates. That's not a major parameter to judge. There are serial killers who are graduates. Yeah. There are psychopaths who are brilliant. So please don't raise psychopaths. Don't raise serial killers. Don't raise emotional wrecks.
Have a conversation with two of you. Have a conversation. Sit down. And see how both of you can make it work in your marriage. What are the things that you can do? If you don't have children, it might be a bit easier, but again, it can tell on your marriage.
Although it will tell on your marriage.
But at the same time, if both of you are struggling there, have a conversation, see what's gonna work for you. How can you balance things? How can you be a bit more present for yourselves, for each other, and for your marriage, and see how you can tweak things around.
That communication is still the major oil of communication and understanding
and intentionality.
It's still the major oil for all of these things that we're talking about, so that you know what works for you and you determine it. And then again, what works has to be not just on one parameter. Our children are doing well, we're making money. You have to look at it holistically, emotionally, spiritually, materially, intimacy wise, all of these things. If any of these things are suffering, you may not be doing well. You may be making money, but intimacy is lacking. You are not friends. You are not talking to each other. You hardly even see each other.
Which kind of money is that?
Exactly. No matter the amount of money, something is not right. The devil will come into that home very easily. So those are some of the things that we thought we would share with you today on this topic of how we share our roles and responsibilities. We hope that this has been a blessing to you, been a blessing to your mind, been a blessing to your home, because that's the vision that God has given to us about this podcast. So once again, thank you very much.
Should we say thank you to people who have?
Once again, thank you very much for joining us today. We want to say special thanks to those who left us a comment, because that's how we know you are here. So if you want us to know that you are here, please leave us a comment. Either when you're watching the recording later or when you are watching right now live with us. So want to thank Yinasim Alibe Wasa. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dr. Temitope Bagbebi, thank you for joining us today. Health Bridges mobile locator app. We don't know your exact name, but thank you for joining us today. God bless you. Afalake David Salem, thanks for joining us today. Bisoye, I just said thank you. Hey, I forgot your first name, but Ohio, Sister Ohio, God bless you. Thanks for joining us. Jonathan Jonah Obonyilo, thanks for joining us. PB Obeng, thank you for joining us. And of course, our own Damilola Bolade, thanks for joining us. Jacinta Anuka, thank you for joining us. Titilayo Akinleye, thank you.
Thank
Caroline
you so
as
much.
well. Caroline Kusimba, thank you for joining us from Kenya. Thanks for watching this. God bless you. And we love you. We're going to see you again next week by God's grace. You take care and bye now.
Bye.